In the year 2009, a 30-year-old man named Marcus Pearson would create a gaming company called Mojang. After many hard-working months of privately testing their game, Marcus and his new company would make their first project open to the public. This newly made project was none other than Minecraft. The game would quickly gain an underground following, and in the later months of 2010, the first major boom in popularity would happen. Many people attribute the first boost of popularity to an old-school gaming YouTuber called Sinful, when he made one of the first popular Minecraft Let's Play videos. Just 6 days after Sinful's Minecraft video, the first ever Minecraft convention would be held, and the year after, in 2011, Minecraft would finally be released as a full game, and the rest is history. From being the most selling game in the history of gaming to being sold to Microsoft for $2.5 billion, Minecraft would reach the heights that no other game has even come close to. Minecraft even has a yearly convention where thousands of fans around the world can gather to do and see things Minecraft related. But what many people fail to remember is where or when the first convention happened. So before we go back to 2010, let's start with the man who started Minecraft. Remember that Marcus Pearson guy I talked about at the beginning of this video? Most people know him as Notch, and he had always had the dream of being a professional game developer. In fact, since the age of 8 years old when he first started coding video games, he was always pretty hopeful that being a game developer would be a full-time job for him. While Notch was in school, he even told his career counselor about his aspirations for creating video games, and his career counselor was quick to say that it likely wouldn't happen. Despite this, Notch would end up programming other people's games for a living and making his own games in his free time. Fast forward to 2009, Notch would have quite a few games under his belt. While obviously none of these games reached the heights like Minecraft, I don't think Notch was trying to find commercial success in some of his first published video games. Most of his games that were published at this point were part of yearly challenges, like the Java 4K Game Creation Competition. To put it briefly, the Java 4K was a yearly competition where game creators were tasked with creating a game that was under 4 kilobytes. For example, 2 fully written pages on your computer is the equivalent of 4 kilobytes, so to create a game with that little of storage is really impressive. With all that said, Notch had made some non-challenge games like Blast Passage, but nothing would really gain large success. And it makes me ask the question, was Notch hurt by this? Was Notch wanting a game that would produce lots of revenue and, more importantly, a game that had a fan base and committed community? I'm sure there were plenty of people that appreciated Notch's games before the creation of Minecraft, but just from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like he garnered that big of a following, but maybe I'm wrong. Eventually, Notch wanted to just focus on what he wanted to make, so he quit his job of programming other people's projects and planned on spending 6 to 12 months to focus on a game he would make. This game would of course be Minecraft. Notch's dream to be a game maker had already been accomplished for many years by 2009, but he would never expect to be one of the most beloved, famous, and successful game creators of all time. Minecraft would go through many months of testing, but the first truly playable version of Minecraft was released in June of 2009 when multiplayer was added to the game. The game at this point doesn't have many challenges, especially since there's only a creative game mode. Minecraft was more of a sandbox building game with no survival aspects during this time, but it's safe to say that Minecraft was gaining a quick, but relatively small following. Months before this point, Minecraft was a barely playable game with little to no features at all, but Notch decided to start advertising the game anyway. While I don't have any statistics or numbers of the players that were being brought in from Minecraft's first advertisements, I'm pretty sure that people started playing the game, and because of how barren and simple Minecraft was after its very first release, this caused people to go on forums and start talking about it. People would ask the purpose of Minecraft, and not even in a hating way. People were just genuinely confused with the point of the game. Anyway, past the point of June 2009, multiplayer being added would really help boost the game and its still relatively small popularity. As the months in 2009 would pass, the Minecraft community would continue to grow, but the game wasn't ready to go mainstream just yet. In the middle of 2010, Minecraft would look more familiar to present-day Minecraft than it ever had, as the addition of many things were put into the game. Because of this, Minecraft was more appealing to a diversity of gamers. It's safe to say that Minecraft's community was growing, and they were there to stay playing the game for a very long time. It's at this point in the middle months of 2010 that the first Minecon would be organized and happen. But it's not the Minecon you're thinking of. The first Minecon would happen over Minecraft. In honor of the first year anniversary of Minecraft, the community would set up a big virtual event filled with many mini-games such as spleef, building tournaments, obstacle courses, and even griefing competitions. The announcement was made on the Minecraft forums, and it met a pretty positive response. The day of the event would arrive, and over 100 Minecraft players would come together to play some mini-games. For those who are interested, I'm going to go ahead and list the winners for each game, because why not? A Minecraft player named Exis Rai would win the spleef tournament, a player named Real G would win the building competition, Cool Pilot would win the obstacle course race, and the griefing competition would end up getting cancelled. Moving on, Notch would actually show up for this event. And I'd say the most wholesome part of this entire virtual meetup is the wall of signatures. 167 Minecraft players, including Notch, would end up signing the wall, and it really shows how far the game had come. Minecraft wouldn't be at the point where elementary school kids would wear creeper hoodies and wear Minecraft backpacks, but the game had a decently big following, and I think Notch deserved that after many years of making games. Also, side note, around this time Notch had actually confirmed that Herobrine would be added in the game, but we'll get back to that in the next Minecon 2010. After many YouTubers would make Minecraft Let's Play videos in the later months of 2010, Minecraft was growing even faster and more people were joining the community. But it wasn't that big yet, just more people were joining. With new players and year-old players loving the game so much, the Minecraft community would start to ask Notch about a possible in real-life meetup. Notch would end up letting the forums decide on a venue and place, and to everyone's surprise, Notch would make an announcement saying that he would be free in Bellevue, Washington on August 31st. Notch would end up calling it MinecraftCon 2010. He was very grateful and the meetup was now in place. The day would arrive, and unfortunately for everyone who planned on going to Minecon, the weather that day had other plans. Bellevue, Washington would end up having a rainy day, and the park that the meetup was being held at would be covered in damp grass and mud. Despite the mild inconvenience of some rainy weather, the meetup was still on, and thanks to a randomly placed blue tarp, a lot of convention goers wouldn't get rained on that day. I'm not sure what time the convention actually started, but I do know that a crowd of over 50 people would show up, and it's highly talked about that the majority of the people attending were actually Notch's family, but I'm not too sure about how true that is. What I do know is that the community was happy to be there. A guy in a full creeper costume would show up, a guy with a Steve head and an umbrella would teleport to the Minecon 2010 server, Blue Shovel Guy was there, and lo and behold, Notch would arrive.
There's Notch.
For the most part, people bombarded Notch with questions about the game, but that wasn't a bad thing. It seemed like Notch enjoyed being there and would answer anyone who would ask him a question. People would obviously ask him about Minecraft, but I also think this question is more important than any other.
Speaking of fan-made works, are you aware of Herobrine, that rumor that's been going around of the Minecraft ghost?
Yeah, that's him. Him.
Is that actually something that you put into the game, or is it just a hoax?
It's a hoax. Unfortunately.
Minecon 2010 wouldn't last very long, especially due to the weather and lack of activities, but everyone had a great time. Players who attended the convention that day would detail their experiences on Minecraft forums, and from what I could find, there wasn't anything bad to say aside from the rainy weather. People on the forums would praise Notch for not only going through with the in-real-life event, but for answering the hundreds of questions that would be asked. Notch would sign many autographs and a big family picture would be taken, and that would really be it for Minecon 2010. Shortly after the event was held, players would go on to talk about Minecon 2011, and I don't think anyone could imagine the boost in quality for future conventions. While it may seem anticlimactic that nothing crazy happened at Minecon 2010, something truly special did occur. A man who just wanted to make video games for a living decided to quit his programming job and focus on a solo project for over a year, and after a year of the game existing, that same man would be in a wet park with over 50 people who truly supported him and his creation. I'm not sure if Notch felt bad about the lack of success his other games would have, but you gotta imagine that Notch was very proud of himself in that moment. Minecraft, just a little over a year before Minecon 2010, started out with a game that barely had anything to do. So with time, Notch started adding creatures and blocks and more things to do in the game, and flash forward to August of 2010, Notch was seeing people dress up as creatures and players from his own video game. That said, I think most people watching know the rest of the Minecraft story. Minecraft would be released as a full game in 2011, which would already gain him 1 million copies sold in the first couple of months. It was also that same year that Minecraft 2011 happened, which was a major upgrade in terms of venue, staff, and crowd size. As the years would tick by, Minecraft would keep growing and is still very relevant to this day. And I truly thank Notch for sharing his unfinished game with the world, because it truly changed so many people's lives, including Notch's. While this video was pretty much centered around Minecon 2010, I really think it's about the man who made the possibility for Minecon to even happen. I think everything I've said has been a pretty feel-good story, from Notch's counselor saying that he couldn't be a video game maker to the many years where he was just stuck making other people's video games just to take a risk and make his own project. It's a shame that Notch's life would maybe go a little dark. With the ever-growing success Minecraft would have, meant Notch would get richer. Like really rich. By 2014, just 4 years after Minecon 2010, Notch would already be a multi-millionaire. But then he made the decision to sell Minecraft to a company called Microsoft. This transaction would grant Notch with over $2.5 billion. To many, including myself, this money would be great to have and is obviously life-changing, but in recent years, it seems that the narrative of Notch has changed. He was seen as a successful video game maker who made it really big, but many people nowadays see him as a lonely billionaire, and while I can't speak on his personal life, there's just something that makes me feel so melancholic about everything I've talked about in this video. Maybe this video isn't about Notch, maybe it's about the growth of a community, and I'm just making everything seem really sad for some reason. Minecon 2010 was just a bunch of gamers who met up with a guy who made a game, and just years later there was thousands of gamers around the world who sold out big venues all for one purpose: Minecraft.
We're just in the middle of a park. There's like people standing around staring. We're just in the middle of this park. Someone actually brought a tarpaulin to us. This is cool. Watching Notch sign a diamond shovel. Hey, walk around all funny.
Well, I guess that's it. This might be the best video I've ever made. I've never made something that made me like emotional. If you're still watching, you probably aren't subscribed, and while that's completely fine, it does make me happy when people like you support the channel. Thanks for watching, check out my past and future content, and give me money on my Patreon in the description. Shout out to Josh S, shout out to Cher, and shout out to Sinful for being Patreon members. You guys are the best.